So here we're gonna, well, I hesitate to call this a review, but we're going to talk about Alfie Shine. So a friend from England, Jim Hendricks, developed, apparently over a long period of time, this wax product. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit. I've had it about a week. The thing that interested me about it initially is that it is a really natural product with ingredients sourced, I guess, from all over the place, all over the world, literally. I quizzed Jim thoroughly. There is no silicone in this wax. There is no alcohol in this wax, which for my shellacking and French polishing was very important. And he's basically based it on some ancient formulas. The wax, is being marketed mostly to sort of the old tool groups, of which I'm a member, who are using it to help restore some of their old woodworking tools. And I've done a little bit of that, but most of my woodworking tools had already been restored to the extent that they were going to get restored. But I've been experimenting with it. There are a couple things that I really like. First, it is a hard wax. It's not a soft paste wax. I've got some of that laying around the shop too. That's okay for general purposes, but generally I don't like using it, for example, with French polish. I favor a very light waxing, and having a hard wax is my preference. In fact, usually what I use is a block of Carnauba, which you've seen, if you've seen other videos of mine, you've seen me do. Just wipe up a diaper, literally, with a drop of mineral oil over the Carnauba. So I liked the hard wax. It's got Carnauba and beeswax and other magical ingredients. You apply it. I've been using a very tiny amount, a light wipe. Here I've got, if you can see it, let's see if I can do this without killing myself. I'm just putting a very light coating. This axe handle was made by a local guy here in Oregon. He markets them on eBay, really nice stuff. And he takes axe heads, restores them, handles them. I put shellac on it, of course, being the shellac nut that I am. And now I'm adding a little of the wax. I'm going to let that, in fact, the instructions actually tell you, let it wait a few days before you buff it out. I did take one old chisel that I'd recently received and buffed that out to a pretty nice shine. Other things that I've been working on, I have a whole set of violin maker's knives that I made many years ago. Coated them with shellac, decided I'd try the Alfie Shine. Did a really nice job. Why do I use wax? Mostly as a protectant. I'm not necessarily thinking that it is the ultimate restoration formula, although it can help you restore old tools. But it's a great protectant, a very light coating, and your shop on your tools will protect them, especially through the wet winters. And it does bring out a nice shine. I also like tools with a little wax on them, just a tiny bit of grippiness, if that makes any sense. I don't like the idea of somebody who slathers on coat after coat of wax and it's just sticky and tacky. But a small, light amount of wax really gives you a little bit extra. Again, just a tiny bit of tackiness, so stick to it. Is kind of nice. So these are looking brighter and shinier, if I don't stab myself, than they have in a very long time. I made them many years ago. A couple of other examples. This is an old palm plane, boxwood English, that I've had for many years. I hit it with Alfie Shine. It brightened up the boxwood really nicely. One of my favorites, a Bill Carter small palm plane made of lignum. It really brought out the color in the lignum. And one of my favorites, a Bill Carter finger plane. God, we gotta get close here to even see any of this. But it really prettied this thing up. I mean, it was already beautiful, but it's got a radiused sole. If we can at all see that. And it takes a really nice little cut. So I use that in guitar making. So there's just a sampling of some tools that I've used, and a couple more, like the axe handle. Then I'll wait a couple days and then buff them out to get a little bit more evenness to the gloss. So that's Alfie Shine. There is one other thing that people remarked about the smell, the scent of it. And everybody's talked about how it smelled their shop, filled their shop with the scent. And I was expecting this overpowering scent, which sometimes waxes can have very strong wax scents. The soft wax that I use, which is a popular brand. Every time I open that, my wife from just about anywhere in the house says, "What's that smell?" And I go, "It's the wax." So I was expecting an overpowering wax. It isn't. It's very subtle. It's very pleasant, but it is not going to overwhelm your shop if anybody had thought that. So I'm recommending this. This is really nice stuff. I bought 2 tins, which I figure with a small little dab that I use will last me a long time. I've waited a few days. Going to buff out. Just really simple. The surface has a really nice feel. It does not have a wax feel, which is important to me. Looks great, I think. I mean, it looked great first, originally, but it looks better. Let's see. What are we getting here? I'm sure we can't really see this on the video, but it's definitely going up a level. And as I say, for me it's important. What's great is that I can get away with putting a tiny coating so that there's not a waxy finish feel or buildup, which is kind of hard to do with a paste wax because that looks great. Let's look at a couple of other things I'd already done. An Ebony Spokeshave. This was already a nice shape, but it definitely came up to more gloss and a nice finish. One of my favorite bench planes. This absolutely darkened like one more step. Boxwood wedge. Back to our Bill Carter planes. That's a little beaut. The Lignum Carter. Again, the goal was just a little bit of a light coat of wax. And the old boxwood. This really, this aged a little bit. It darkened, I should say. Just a little bit. It looks a little richer. So I think this looks great. Just a nice light coating. So, all in all, I'm happy. I mean, to a certain degree, wax is wax, and what it does is it does consistently. But clearly, the combination of the hard wax, the nice ingredients, no bad ingredients in it, makes this a real winner for me. So that's sort of my quick review in a moment of the Alfie Shine.